We're going to be going through problems number 41 through 60 today. What you want to do is check them on your review sheet and make sure you have all the steps correctly like we're going to be talking through today. Do you guys need to bring me this final review sheet on your final day?
Yep.
Yes. This is worth 10% of your grade, so you must bring it with you to the final. If you understand this review sheet, you will do fantastic on the final. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with question number 41. First up, Marcus, what is the Pythagorean Theorem? A squared
B squared
plus B squared
equals C squared.
equals C squared. All right, everyone, let's say it together. A squared
Plus B squared equals C squared.
All right, so that's the Pythagorean Theorem. Let's talk about the next formula we need to know. Gavin, what is the simple interest formula? I equals PRT. Guys, what's the I stand for? Interest. How about the P? Principal. The R? Rate. The rate is always going to be a percentage, and then T is, and you always measure your time in years. Excellent. Let's go ahead and go through this first one. We're going to use the simple interest formula to find the unknown quantity. Maddox, what is, once again, the simple interest formula? I equals PRT. Okay, do I know my I? Not yet. Do I know my P? What is it? Okay, so basically all I'm going to do is instead of that P right there, I'm going to go ahead and put in $1,500. Do I know my R? What is it? 8.5. Okay, what should I do to my 8.5? You always change this rate to a decimal, so Maddox, what would that be? 0.085. And do we know the time? It is in years. How many years is this specific time? 10. Okay. Now what do I do, Maddox? You multiply all of those together, and what do you get? Okay, 1,275 what? Dollars, because anytime you have interest, that's always going to come out as money. Okay? So using that formula, you found out that the interest you would gain is $1,275. Connor, help me with number 44. What's the formula?
I equals PRT.
Okay, do we know our I?
Yes.
What is it?
$45.
Okay, it is $45. Do we know our P?
Yes.
What is it?
$225.
$225. Do we know the R?
Yes, it's 0.05. That's when you change the decimal.
Okay, good job changing it to a decimal. And do we know the time?
You do not.
Okay, the time is the thing that we are going to be trying to figure out. All right? Is there anything I could do on the left side?
No.
Nope, so we're just going to drop down the $45. Is there anything that I can do over here on the right side?
Yes.
Yes. What is 225 times 0.05?
$11.25 T.
Okay, 11.25, and we're going to bring down that T. Now remember, your whole goal is to get the variable by itself. What's not allowing it to be alone?
Multiplied by T.
Okay,
Divide by 11.25 on both sides.
you are correct. We're going to divide by 11.25 on both sides. On the right-hand side, this simply cancels out, and we're left with 1 T over there equals what?
4 years.
4 years. Thank you for telling me the units. If ever you are looking for time, then it will always come out in years unless it tells you otherwise. Okay, great job, Connor. Thank you. All right, the next one says evaluate the expression when x equals 5 and y equals 12. Carson, go ahead and help us with this one.
Okay, so it's basically a plug-in situation, so it would be x equals 5 squared plus y, which would be 12 squared.
Good job. All you have to do there is just plug them in. And now what is 5 squared?
25.
And what is 12 squared?
144.
Okay, what is 25 plus 144?
169.
And what is the square root of 169?
13.
13 is correct. Excellent job. Micah.
Or, so 6. We're doing the next one, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's 3961, 5, and then 5 minus 5, 12, and then
Minus 512.
no, you put in your parentheses because it looks like 500.
All right, you want to put in parentheses so we understand we are multiplying those two together.
5 times, alright, we're at 61 minus 60.
Okay, so here's the thing. You want to make sure you do the multiply before you would come over here and subtract that, okay? Because earlier I had some people trying to do 61 minus 5. Remember PEMDAS, you want to do multiplication before you subtract. Very good.
Alright, then going down the little box, it equals 1, and then you do it at 1.
Okay, the square root of 1 is 1. Very good. Problem 47 says to solve the equation and round to the nearest tenth. Jaden, help me with this one. Once again, we're just trying to get the variable by itself. What are the two things that are not allowing the variable to be alone? The 9 and the square. Which one should I get rid of first? The 9. Okay, so how do I get rid of it? Minus 9 on both sides. This cancels out. I'm left with d squared on the left side equals what? 25. How do I get d by itself? Okay, the opposite of a square is a square root, so I've got to do it to both sides. And what are you left with? Okay, so mainly because right here we were the ones who introduced that radical, that's why we want to make sure we have not only is it a positive 5, it could also be negative 5. Because if I were to plug this right back up into here and I had negative 5 times negative 5, that would be what? Positive 25. Okay, or if I had positive 5 times positive 5, I would still have positive 25. So for that problem, your answer is positive or negative 5. Find the unknown side length and round to the nearest tenth. Taylor, what is the formula that we use whenever we have a triangle? Okay, does anyone remember how I can figure out which one the C is? I know for us it told us this was C, but how could I figure that out?
Opposite the right angle.
Okay, here's the right angle. It's always going to be whatever is opposite the right angle, okay? Now the other two are A and B. It doesn't really matter. You could say this one is A, or you could say this one is A. Either one, the order doesn't matter, okay? So Taylor, go ahead. Good job. What is 9 squared? $81. What is 4 squared? 16. And what is 81 plus 16? 97. Okay. So is my answer C squared? Or sorry, is my answer 97? No, because I'm trying to get that C by itself. How do I get rid of that square? Square root it, and if I square root the right side, then I've also got to square root the left side, okay? So now, what is the answer? Okay, 9.848857. It just keeps going, okay? But you rounded it to the nearest tenth, and what was that? 9.8 what? Centimeters is correct. Okay, so anytime that you have a triangle that has a right angle, like this one, then you know that you're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem to help you figure out what that unknown side length is. Let's go on to the next one. It's kind of similar to that. Micah, will you help me with it? Formula?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Okay, remind me again, how do I figure out which one is A, B, and C?
Okay, so the B and the C, I mean the A and the B are...
Okay, you always want to find that right angle, and the A and the B are going to be the sides that touch the right angle.
Okay, and then the C squared is the opposite.
And the C will always be the opposite. Excellent. So we're going to call this one C, and we'll call this one A. All right, go ahead and plug it in.
All right, 14 squared plus B squared equals 30 squared.
Okay, what is 14 squared?
30 squared is... Oh, you said 30 squared?
No, 14 squared.
14 squared is 196.
196. And what is 30 squared?
900.
900. Okay, there's two things that are not allowing the B to be alone.
The 196 and that too.
Okay, the 196 and the square. Which one do we get rid of first?
The 196.
The 196, because anything that's attached to the variable, we're going to leave it there as long as we can. How do I get rid of that 196?
You subtract it by 900.
Subtract it on both sides. What do you get?
703.
700 and... Try again.
4.
704. Am I done?
No.
What do I have to do?
You have to square root it.
Square root both sides to try to get rid of that square. And what's your answer? Remember, round it to the nearest tenth.
26.539.
Round it to the nearest tenth.
26.5.
Okay, 26.5 centimeters. Always make sure you attach the units to get all the points that you want on your final. For problem 50, we are going to find the area of the triangle. Carson, what is the formula for area of a triangle?
A equals 1/2 times B times H.
Okay, remember these kind of formulas, you're going to want to have them memorized for your final. Do I know my area yet?
No.
Nope. What's my base?
7.
Okay, and what's my height?
6.
Okay, how did you know that this one right here was not your height?
Because the height has the line going up from the right angle.
Okay, it's always going to be the one that forms the right angle with the base. Okay, good job. Now what would you say half of 7 times 6 is? 21 what?
Feet squared.
21 feet squared. Why did you square your units?
You always square it when you have area.
You are correct. Anytime we're looking for the area, you always want to square the units. Excellent job. Let's go on to the next one. Mickey, find the area of this triangle. What is the formula? Very good. Area equals 1/2 times base times height. What is my base? Okay, and what's our height? 3. Okay, what is half of 5 times 3? All right, 7.5 what? Inches squared. Okay, then go ahead and box in your answer. Good job. All right, this one's probably a little bit trickier than the others. Kyla, help me out with, first off, what is the formula for the triangle?
A equals 1/2 times B times H.
Okay, do I know my area?
Yes.
What is it?
126.1.
Very good. So instead of that A, we're going to go ahead and fill it in 126.1. Drop down your equals, drop down your half. Do we know our base?
No.
We do not know the base, okay? So for that, we're just going to go ahead and leave it there and drop down the B. Do we know our height?
Yes, 19.4.
Okay, very good. It tells us there that the height is going to be 19.4. All right, now, is there any work that I can do over here to the left of the equal sign?
No.
No, so what should I do with that?
Drop it down.
Okay, I'm just going to drop it down and not do anything with it. Is there anything that I can do on the right-hand side?
Yes.
What can I do?
Multiply 19.4 times 1/2.
Okay, so I can take this and multiply it by the other number that's there. What's half of 19.4?
9.7.
All right, 9.7. And then what do I do with that B?
You drop it down.
Just drop it down. What is not allowing that B to be alone?
Multiply times 9.7.
Okay, so how do I get rid of that 9.7?
You divide it from 9.7 on both sides.
Very good. I divided on both sides, and what do I find out?
B is going to equal 13 yards.
B equals 13 what? Yards. Okay, should I square that?
No.
Why not?
Because you're not finding the area.
You are correct. Because up here all I'm trying to find is just the base, then we know we do not have to square the units. Excellent. Next one. Find the perimeter and the area of the parallelogram. Just the girls, tell me please, what is the formula for the perimeter of a parallelogram? Okay, say it together, everyone. P equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Maddox, do it for me. What's my length?
12,
Okay, what's my width?
6.
All right, so just remember with perimeter, it's talking about the area around here. So do not try to give it what the height would be inside. You're trying to find the length and the width. That's the outside of the shape. Maddox, what's 2 times 12?
24,
And 2 times 6?
12,
What's the answer?
36 feet.
36 feet is correct. Questions for Maddox on that one? All right, Jaden, next one. What is the formula for finding the area of a parallelogram? All right, area equals base times height. What's my base? And what's my height? What's the answer? Okay, now why did you square the units and he didn't? Very good. Every time that we're finding the area, we always want to square the units. Questions on that one? All right, remember, if you're not getting these correct as we're going through them, erase it on your review sheet, please, and put in the correct answers, because when you turn that in, I'm looking to see that you have every single answer correct on your review sheet. On to the next one. Marcus, what is the area of a trapezoid formula?
1/2 parentheses B1 plus B2 parentheses H.
Okay, once again, these are going to be formulas you want to have memorized for the final. Gavin, do I know my area? No. Tell me what to plug in next. Okay, very good. Next up, Connor, what should I do?
Get down the A and then multiply 1/2 times, okay, so 6 plus 14 equals 20.
All right, so we do always want to do inside parentheses work first. So he said that that was 20. And now, guys, you want to find out what half of 20 times 10 would be. When you do that, what is the answer?
100 inches squared.
100 inches squared. Okay, very good. This one, we're still using the same exact formula, but instead we're finding the height instead of the area. So what's the formula that we used?
1/2 times B1 plus B2 times height.
Okay, what's my area? Okay, drop down your half. What's my base 1? What's my base 2? And what's my height? We don't know it yet. On the left-hand side, is there anything I could do? No, so I just dropped down 19.5. On the right-hand side, what should I do?
5 plus 8.
What's 5 plus 8?
13.
13. Okay, once again, still nothing to do on the left side. Is there anything to do on the right?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
1/2
What is half of 13?
6.5.
6.5. Guys, what's not allowing the h to be alone? How do I get rid of 6.5? As I was saying, what do I do to get rid of that 6.5?
Divided by 6.
Divide by 6.5 on both sides. These cancel out. And what is my height?
3 feet.
3 feet. Now, some people put 3 feet squared. It is not 3 feet squared because you only want it squared when you're finding the area. For this, I was only trying to find the height, and it's just 3 feet. Okay? Let's go on the next one. Find the circumference of the circle, use 3.14 for pi, and do not round your answer. Who knows what the formula for circumference of a circle is?
equals pi d.
All right, C equals pi d. Why are we using d? What does d stand for? Diameter. Okay, notice right here, the diameter, it's the distance all the way across the circle. So that's why we want to have the d there. As we know, we're using 3.14. And what's my diameter?
18.
18. What's the answer, guys?
56.52 inches.
Okay, should I square it?
No.
Why not?
Because it's only area, not.
Okay, we're only finding circumference, and that's just the distance around the circle, so I do not need to square the units. Next up, is this right here diameter?
No, it's radius.
No, so I've got to use a different formula. Does anyone remember what the formula would be? What is
C
it?
equals 2 pi r.
Excellent. Many people have been trying to say pi r squared, but it is C equals 2 pi r. Because remember, one radius is this right here. 2 radiuses would actually be the diameter, and this is 2 radiuses. Okay, so we're going to plug things in. 2 times, we know this is going to be 3.14, and what's our radius? 6. Okay, when you multiply all that out, what do you get? 37.68 inches. Okay, and because the instructions that time did not ask us to round, you're going to go ahead and just leave the answer just like that. It says, find the diameter and the radius of the circle with the given area. Use 3.14 for pi. Because we see it says area there, and we know that we're dealing with a circle, what is the formula for area of a circle?
A equals pi r squared.
A equals pi times r squared. All right, Carson wants to do it. What's the area?
Area is 200.96 inches.
Okay, what should I put for pi?
3.14.
All right, and we don't know our radius yet. How do I get that r by itself?
Divide by 3.14.
Divide by 3.14 on both sides. This side cancels out. I'm left just with r squared equals what?
64.
Okay, am I done?
No, you got to square root 64, which equals 8, and 8 would be your radius.
Good job. Because we're trying to get rid of that square, a square root is the opposite. And you can see here that the square root of 64 would be 8. So let's plug it up over here. 8 what, Carson?
8 inches.
8 inches, okay? How do I figure out my diameter from there?
Multiply it.
You're simply just going to multiply it by 2, okay? Because this right here is helping me to see this is the radius, and that's 8. But now I don't want to know just that. I want to know it all the way across. So what would it be?
16 inches.
16 inches. Very good. I want you guys to do the next one on your own for me, please. Here we go. For this one, I want just the boys to help me. Boys, what is the formula?
A equals pi r squared.
Okay, boys, do I know my A?
Yes.
What is it?
1,256 feet.
Okay, what should I plug in for pi?
3.14.
3.14 r squared. Mickey, how do I get that r by itself?
Hold up. All by itself. And you divide 3.1256
Okay, divide it by 3.14. This cancels out. R squared equals what, guys?
400.
400. Marcus, how do I get that r squared by itself?
You gotta square root it.
Square root it? What is the square root of 400?
It's 20.
Okay, so if we know that the radius is 20 feet, Maddox, what would the diameter be?
40 feet.
40 feet, because it's always going to be doubled. All right? All right, so listen, if you understand this review sheet, you will do excellent on your final this week.
Let's go.